This is an interview given by Chasse with Mr. McMahon on Tuesday, November 17th at Seton Hall Prep. Enjoy.
On a scale of very good, good, fair, poor, and very poor, how would you rate your knowledge of the Bible?
So very good was the top?
Yes, sir.
I would say good, but I wonder what you meant by knowledge.
Right. I guess knowledge of scriptures.
So is that like quoting it or understanding how it came to be?
That's a good question. I guess for this part of it, quoting it, and then
I would say I'm not nearly as good as quoting all the various books of the Bible, especially the Old Testament, as maybe understanding the history of how it came to be.
Okay. How important is the question of method in interpreting scripture? So, for example, fundamentalism and relativism, the historical critical method in interpreting.
Well, I think it's essentially important that each of the parts of Scripture has to be understood in the context of its particular literary and historical form.
Okay. Do you know any contradictions in the Genesis creation accounts between themselves?
I know there's several different accounts in there. One around 850 BC and the other around 650 BC. The authors of the scriptures became much more centered on monotheism than they were in the original.
Okay. But the contradictions within the creation stories.
Yeah, I wouldn't
themselves.
exactly call them contradictions because the purposes were different and the traditions were different, but inconsistencies might work, certainly differences.
Okay. Do you believe that truth cannot contradict truth?
Yes.
So, how could you elaborate a little more?
Truth can't contradict truth because if it's truth, it's truth.
Sure.
Now, you may be talking about different accounts that are different from one another. My biggest sense is that biblical truth cannot contradict historical truth, cannot contradict scientific truth.
How do you interpret the so-called texts of terror in the scripture, such as Joshua 6, verse 21, and 1 Samuel chapter 3?
The various terror things,
Texts of terror, yeah.
like bashing kids' heads against the wall, and the concept of terroir, holy war. I think it makes historical understanding and probably isn't critically different from what the Assyrians were doing in justifying holy war and other variations of holy war. I do not understand. My concept of God is not a God who embraces crusades and holy wars.
And last question is, what can faith communities do to better educate their members on the Bible?
In our own particular tradition, we get small, sometimes isolated snippets of the Bible read at Mass, although there is, over the course of a year, an attempt to cover with some consistency a large part of the Bible and to coordinate first readings with the second and with the gospel readings. But I don't know that much of it works at all in little snippets. So I think going to good schools like Seton Hall Prep and getting some more genuine studies of how scriptures develop is probably one of the best things we can do.
Right. I tend to agree with that.
Good.
All right. So let's see. So as far as the faith communities and educating the members, so would you say maybe going to Sunday, when kids go to Sunday school, or perhaps maybe in Mass going a little more in depth, or expanding more in each chapter?
There's certainly room for Sunday school, although children in those early years are at a different stage, a more literal stage, a more concrete stage than the scriptures were being written at. I know a number of preachers put efforts into their sermons, but unfortunately there are a number of others who do not put that much effort into their sermons. And if scripture is of somewhat central importance, it should probably play a much more crucial role in many of the homilies. The homily should at least rise up to the level of good teaching, which is not just one presentation in one direction.
Right. So how would you say we can better, like, faith leaders can help the members learn how to interpret the Bible and make their own interpretations? Maybe
The same way you would prepare a class, you would have an objective in view, and you would follow up with the people to see if that objective was being met. Maybe if people took it seriously, they would actually read the scriptures before coming to Mass and then discuss the different relevance of it to their lives, rather than just having it read and preach that and leave and forget.
Well, that's all for the interview.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Good luck with the assignment.
Thank you. Hope everyone has learned a decent amount from Mr. McMahon. Thank you.